Hello and welcome everyone. Today's video features a full review guide of the brand new premium Japanese heavy cruiser Tone. Tone was the lead ship in a two-vessel Tone class of heavy cruisers in the Imperial Japanese Navy and was designed for long-range scouting missions and had a large seaplane capacity. Tone was deployed extensively across the Pacific, providing scouting services to the Japanese carrier task forces, taking part in numerous campaigns, including the attack on Pearl Harbour, the Battle of the Java Sea, Midway Island, the Eastern Solomons, Santa Cruz, the Philippine Sea, and the massive Battle of Leyte Gulf, before finally being sunk in Kure Harbour in 1945 by US Navy aircraft. Tone enters World of Warships for the very first time at Tier VIII and will be available in the Premium Store and the Armory for 11,300 doubloons. Now, if this video is well received, I'll be able to give away to one lucky winner a Tone for free. And to enter this giveaway, simply leave your in-game name and the server you play on in the comments section below in the format you see here on screen, and you must be subscribed to the channel. And if you're not already subscribed, what are you waiting for? It's free and will never cost you a cent, ever. I have regular ship giveaways on here, so make sure you also click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future giveaways. So with that out of the way, let's jump into the review of the Tone. And starting as usual with the complete ship build I'm using in this gameplay footage. All the numbers referenced in this video are based on this exact build, and there's nothing really too unusual except maybe the inclusion of enhanced torpedo explosive charge. Not a skill you would usually associate with cruiser builds, but there is good reason. Tone has amazing torpedoes and torpedo bombers, and the skill increases the damage on both, so I highly recommend it. If you find yourself in a lot of CV games, I might suggest swapping out top grade gunner for AA gunner and running with defensive fire instead of hydroacoustic search. But this is the build I was using for randoms and the footage you are now watching. Although Tone was classified as a heavy cruiser, it reflects on her gun caliber and not her armour. Using a simple port screenshot, we can see here that Tone gets a lower fore-end and aft-end plating of 25mm, but almost universal coverage of 27mm plating, including the upper fore-end and aft-end and main deck. The superstructure then gets 16mm, and if we peel back the 27mm central plating, we can see Tone gets a citadel armour belt of 100mm, and underneath her 4 gun turrets an armour belt of 145mm. The 4 turrets are very lightly armoured, getting 25mm plating on all sides, including the frontal plating. So don't be surprised when taking fire that these turrets may feel a little vulnerable. All in all, quite lightly armoured, but I found Tone to be quite resilient. She has many advantages, and when positioned well she can be quite difficult to deal with. Tone gets 38,900 hit points, which is further reinforced by having 5 repair parties. So if you can avoid those citadel hits, Tone can repair quite a bit of light, high explosive and fire damage over the course of a game. Tone gets a torpedo protection damage reduction of 13%, but you do get the option of mounting the hydroacoustic search consumable instead of defensive fire. Depending on your playstyle, both are quite valid, but I found I preferred hydro as I like to play close to the action whenever possible and get maximum value from my torpedoes, and in particular late game scenarios I feel it works really well. As you will have already noticed, the Tone gets access to torpedo bombers. Tone can launch a total of 4 aircraft per squadron, each capable of dropping 2 torpedoes per attack, so 8 in total. These torpedo bombers have a cruise speed of 135 knots, a max speed of 155 knots, using the engine boost, which has a duration of 10 seconds, and a reload time of 20 seconds, and just like the IJN, these planes get an additional speed boost when launched, so it's advisable to be bow towards your intended target to maximize this boost. These torpedoes can inflict a max damage of just under 3200, with a torpedo speed of 35 knots, with a max range of 2.2 kilometers, and an arming distance of 423 meters. This squadron of aircraft has a detectability range of 6.7 kilometers and an aircraft restoration time of 3 minutes, which is the cooldown time for the torpedo bomber consumable. Tone gets additional torpedo armament in the form of 4 X3 torpedo launchers, 2 on each side, with firing angles that favour firing towards your stern. These torpedoes have a max firing range of 10 kilometers, with a torpedo speed of 62 knots. They can be detected at 1.6 kilometers and can inflict a max damage of just under 20,000. And they have a very fast reload time of only 76 seconds. I really found these torpedoes to be quite useful and often played the Tone like a large destroyer. Circumstances depending, of course, and combined with the potential cross-drop and scouting potential with the torpedo bombers, they can provide some interesting tactics. On top of some very powerful torpedo armament, Tone also gets 8 203mm guns mounted in 4 dual-mounted turrets, all situated on the fore end. These 203mm guns have a reload time of 15 seconds, a 180-degree turning time of just over 26 seconds, and a max firing range of 15.7 kilometers, with a max dispersion of 123 meters, and a gun sigma of 2.0. Tone is capable of firing both high explosive and armor-piercing rounds. The HE can inflict a max damage of 3300 and can penetrate 34mm of armor, with a 17% chance of setting the target on fire. Tone's armor-piercing rounds can inflict a max damage of 4700, and both of these shell types have the exact same shell velocity of 840 meters per second. The arrangements of the gun turrets do feel a little unusual at first and require some getting used to. Turrets 3 and 4, when counting from bow to stern, do feel a little sluggish when turning, but the firing angles are not bad. You're not required to show too much broadside to fire all 4 at once. Tone gets additional secondary armament with 8 127mm guns, also in 4 dual-mounted turrets. These 127mm guns have a reload time of 6.8 seconds, firing high explosive rounds with a max firing range of 6.9 kilometers. They can penetrate 21mm of armor and have an 8% chance of setting the target on fire. The only thing I found that held them back from being very effective against destroyers was the relatively slow shell speed of 725 meters per second. Tier 8 is one of these tiers that is very highly populated with aircraft carriers, so the introduction of Tone into the game, well, the skies will be filled with enemy aircraft. In terms of AA defense, the Tone gets an in-game rating of 47, with 65 AA guns in total, ranging from 25mm up to 127mm, and all combined they're capable of pumping out a continuous average damage of 128, the vast majority of which is short range. Tone can fire 4 flak explosions per salvo, with a max damage of 1470, with a max firing range of 5.8 kilometers. Dealing with enemy aircraft is always going to be problematic, and if you do find yourself constantly being targeted, Tone does get access to the defensive fire consumable, which does help a little. Tone met her end in real life at the hands of enemy aircraft, and no doubt her fate in World of Warships will often feel quite similar. In terms of just dodging, well, Tone gets a base speed of 35.5 knots, which can be increased to 37.3 knots with the Sierra Mike signal flag, so she's not exactly slow. Tone gets a turning circle radius of 780 meters and a rudder shift time of 8 seconds, which is not out of the ordinary for this tier. So finally, stats wise, we come to the Tone's concealment rating of 72, which equates to a surface detection radius of 8.8 kilometers with a full concealment build, which is really quite good. And you'll be detected by enemy aircraft at 5.8 kilometers, which is your AA firing range. This concealment is really excellent and one of Tone's greatest strengths, allowing you to easily launch torpedoes from the cover of concealment. The damage over time capability of Tone is not bad, having both very useful torpedoes, sea-based and from aircraft, and main armament with decent fire chance. I must add, however, playing Tone is not a walk in the park. Learning to position yourself well to make use of Tone's strengths, being very careful not to get surprise spotted and deleted while flying aircraft, takes both a good bit of practice and experience. Although Tone has excellent concealment, in reality, with the amount of aircraft in the skies, and soon even more with the coming of the Dutch cruisers, with airstrikes in update 0.10.6, well, operating from stealth can feel a bit challenging at times. With that being said, Tone is quite a fine looking ship, and as stated earlier, based on a real ship that served across the Pacific theatre of operations, and is pretty much historically accurate. For this fact alone, I expect her to be very popular, but just don't expect miracles. Expect spectacular failures along the way, as the learning curve can feel quite difficult at times. I hope I was able to provide you some useful information on the heavy Japanese cruiser Tone, on whether you are interested in adding her to your port, and hopefully you've gained some insight into how she can be played and the threat she presents in game. If you like this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button below. It really does help me out a lot, so thank you very much in advance. And don't forget to enter the giveaway by leaving your in-game name and the server you play on in the comment section below, again in the format you see here on screen. If you would like to see some live gameplay of the Tone and other ships, make sure to come on over to Twitch. I stream regularly throughout the week. You can see the link here on screen, and also find it and my Discord link in the video description below the video. I look forward to seeing you all. I'd like to thank you once again all for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more. Take a moment to check out some of my most recent videos and leave a comment below. And until the next time, keep sailing it like you stole it.